This member of both the Armed Services and Intelligence Committees and back with us here today. And Senator, good morning. Just want to refresh our audience's memory. You're the one who helped spearhead a letter that went to the Iranian leadership signed by 47 Republican colleagues in the Senate. Now, to whom is he speaking about military action? Do you know?
Well, I think he can only be speaking about the United States. President Obama has said that the military option remains on the table throughout these negotiations. I wish that President Obama would make that a more credible threat because it would improve our diplomatic position. But this latest barn burner speech from Ayatollah Khamenei is just another example of why the president shouldn't have gone down this path to begin with. In the middle of his speech, the crowd once again began chanting, "Death to America, death to England, death to Israel." He once again insisted that they did not make any kind of agreement last month with the United States and disputed some of the key concessions that President Obama and Secretary Kerry said that they had made. That's why we need to be driving for a tougher deal that would stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, not just today, but tomorrow, 10 and 15 years from now.
And that's what leads us to you being on our program today. And frankly, the Ayatollah did not mention names, by the way, during that speech. But will there be a vote today or not? This thing has been stretched out and delayed. Will it happen?
Right now, we do expect to have a vote today, first to end debate and then to move on to final passage of the legislation. But in the end, this legislation just sets up a process, and it's a process that our Constitution doesn't put in place. The president should have to come to Congress to get 67 votes in the Senate, a two-thirds majority, for any kind of nuclear arms agreement, especially one with an Islamist terrorist sponsoring state. The president has reversed that constitutional rule, and instead he's forcing the opponents of his dangerous deal to get 67 votes. I don't think that's the right way to go, and I think we need to do everything we can as a Congress to stop the president from reaching this very bad and very dangerous deal with Iran.
Well, the reports out of the Senate is that yourself and folks like Marco Rubio are getting in the way here. And some of the stories now being written that there's Republican infighting back and forth. Now, are Republicans like yourself going to make this better, or are you going to screw it up?
No, we've been working constructively as Republicans in the Senate to try to toughen this bill. Senator Rubio has an amendment, for instance, that would simply require the president to certify that the terms of the fact sheet he released last month about the proposed deal with Iran have been met until before sanctions are lifted. The Democrats object to that. Why? Because the president has already begun to walk away from his own fact sheet. My amendments, for instance, say that Iran should have to close their underground bunker before they get sanctions relief. The president himself said that in the middle of these negotiations. Our amendments are designed to improve the legislation, and in the end, it's only Democratic intransigence that is stopping those amendments from moving forward, just like so many other amendments.
Mitch McConnell wants to move on. Is he going to get that opportunity and to move on this?
Well, Senator McConnell was always going to face this decision because the Democrats were never going to allow amendments on our very important amendments that were designed to strengthen this legislation. So there's nothing that any Republican senator has done to require Senator McConnell to move forward to closing the debate. It's only the stubbornness of the Democrats who don't want to take votes on these very important amendments.
All right, you know, when it came out of committee, it was bipartisan, right? I mean, it was unanimous across the board that Congress wants to have a say on this Iran deal. In the end, will that happen, despite the disagreements there are right now?
Well, regardless of what happens today in the Senate or when the House takes up this legislation, Congress can always have a say. We have the inherent constitutional authority to pass any legislation that would stop a dangerous deal with Iran from going forward, and that's in the end going to be my priority, is stopping an agreement with Iran that would let them get a nuclear weapon and threaten the United States and our allies, not just today and tomorrow, but 10 and 15 years from now.
Despite how long this takes? I mean, are we talking days or weeks? When will it get done?
Well, there's not much urgency right now because there's no deal that's going to be reached between Iran and the negotiating countries until at least the end of June. So we need to get this right rather than get it fast.
All right, we'll watch for that vote today. Senator, thank you for your time. Tom Cotton, the Republican from Arkansas, thank you for coming back. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.